criminal prosecutions. Cash, I know you're probably going to be head of the CIA, but do you believe that you can deliver the goods on this in a pretty short order the first couple of months so we can get rolling on prosecutions?
Yes, we got the bench for it, Bannon, and you know those guys. I'm not going to go out there and say their names right now so the radical left-wing media can terrorize them. But, excuse me, the one thing we learned in the Trump administration the first go-around is we got to put in all America patriots top to bottom. And we got them for law enforcement. We got them for intel collection. We got them for offensive operations. We got them for DOD, CIA, everywhere. And the one thing we will do that they never will do is we will follow the facts and the law and go to courts of law and correct these justices and lawyers who have been prosecuting these cases based on politics and actually issuing them as lawfare.
Boy, do we have some important news, and boy, everybody, we are so glad that President Trump is coming back into office. We literally have only a couple more days and a couple more weeks before President Biden leaves, and it's time for a total shift in American politics. I mean, the election victory for President Trump is a landslide victory, no doubt about it. It just shows that the American people are fed up with fake politics, fake news, and the mainstream media's corruption. And don't even get me started with Kamala Harris. The mainstream media is still obsessed with her and how she should have won the election over President Trump.
There doesn't have to be a conflict unless that's what Trump wants.
The governor has called a special session that will convene this week to set aside money to battle the Trump administration. Will some of that money also be set aside to protect migrants and undocumented immigrants in California as they seek either legal advice or continued legal financial backing to support their efforts to stay within California and the United States?
Yeah. Again, if the first Trump administration is any indicator, we know that there will continue to be a lot of fear in communities, and communities that deserve to know what their rights are and what their rights are not. And so if it's legal assistance, legal advice, legal support, that's just the California way. We embrace our diversity. Our diversity is what's made our communities thrive and our economy thrive. And so we will assist families against the threats of the Trump administration.
Do you think you'll stay on it?
Yeah, because we can't cede that territory. It's like a turf war now. That's how I look at it. And we can't,
Not that one you don't. There's other ones you can come and grab, leave that to them, because that's what that is meant to be now. It's not meant to be any better.
But if we're not representing our side of the political discourse, aren't we just saying, you know what, you can have Twitter?
But let's just get to the facts. You know, we have to examine her time as Attorney General of California. People argue that her office prioritized convictions over justice. It pursued harsh sentencing for minor drug offenses and also fought against measures to reduce wrongful convictions. You know, this has raised the questions about her commitment to social justice, which is a key part of her public persona that she's been trying to persuade us over the past basically entire year, that she's for the people, the American people, but these policies and allegations just show her that she's not for the American people. And during her presidential campaign, she faced criticism for her shifting stance on major policies. It left us many wondering if her principles were swayed by political gain.
Justin Trudeau, amid reports that Canada may be considering retaliatory tariffs against the United States. ABC's Jay O'Brien joins us now from Mar-a-Lago with the latest. Jay, good morning.
Yeah, Whit, good morning. Overnight, President-elect Donald Trump having an unannounced dinner at his Mar-a-Lago club with Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Trudeau making that surprise trip to Florida after Trump threatened 25% sweeping across-the-board tariffs on goods from Canada and Mexico until both countries stop what Trump claims is a flow of drugs and illegal migrants. Now, incoming Pennsylvania Senator David McCormick posting on X a photo of the dinner, saying that he's excited to shake things up in Washington with Trump. And you can see at the table at the dinner Trump's choice for Interior Secretary and Secretary of Commerce, and Trudeau bring along with him his public safety minister. Trudeau telling reporters before he left that tariffs would hurt not just Canadians but Americans too. Canada is America's second largest trading partner, second only to Mexico. Those two countries together account for $1 trillion in trade a year.
So Taliban is our enemy. ISIS is our enemy. We have an area that I brought up with our generals 4 or 5 weeks ago where Taliban is here, ISIS is here, and they're fighting each other. I said, why don't you let them fight? Why are we getting in the middle of it? I said, let them fight. They're both our enemies. Let them fight. Sir, we want to do it. They go in and they end up fighting both of them. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. I think I would have been a good general, but who knows?
Bader and I got a scholarship to college. Woohoo! I got a scholarship to college. Yay! I got a scholarship to college. Yay! I was a high school debater and I got a scholarship to college. Woo! I got a scholarship to college. Yay! I got a scholarship to college. Debater, yes. I got a scholarship to college. Yay! I got a scholarship to college. Yay! I got a scholarship. Yay!
But this aspect of her career has drawn comparisons to typical political opportunism, suggesting a broader culture of corruption within the system of the Democrats. But Kamala Harris has undoubtedly made strides in her career, but all through doing corrupt things. It's essential to hold her accountable and actually question her motives and current actions. Donald Trump, on the other hand, he is much better. First and foremost, Trump is always praised for his economic policies. Nobody can doubt the economy was better under him and under his term, under his tenure as president, and it will be better under his new term in 2024 and to all the way to 2028, hopefully longer than that.
Times ask me, you came up with Reagan and you've been a writer and journalist as a conservative for a long time. You must be in mourning about this period. I'm not mourning about this period. Here's why. I mourned from 2005 to 2010. I could see that the Republican establishment was blowing itself up, and the party was losing its meaning. Two long unwon wars, a border everybody refused to close, a 2008 crash. The one thing you can trust Republicans to do is keep a shrewd eye on the economy. But a bunch of fraudsters were kiting the economy, and the Republicans in Washington didn't notice. And add that the rise of woke. So I thought I was seeing the establishment blow itself up, and from that explosion came Donald Trump.
Trump term. America becoming a threat, which is what it becomes, a threat to the world order if Trump is reelected, is a known, to quote Don Rumsfeld. America can survive one Trump term. It won't survive a second.
It was a primary, didn't work out to oust Donald Trump. There was a chance for leaders like Mitch McConnell to literally have Donald Trump barred from ever holding federal office again. They didn't do it. The Republican Party will not save us here. We cannot wait for the Republican Party to wake up. Nothing is going to happen inside the Republican Party other than efforts to get Donald Trump what he wants, which is to get rid of our form of government. The only way the country gets saved is if Republicans, our project of the Republican Party is to install a strongman form of government in the United States and get rid of democracy.
But Trump is praised for his economic policies, like I said. He has resulted in significant pre-crisis economic growth, including low unemployment rates and stock market highs. Trump administration emphasized deregulation. Many argued that it would stimulate the businesses, and it did help with innovation as well. Trump's focus on America's first is actually reshaping foreign policy. It prioritizes American interests in trade deals and international relations. But first of all, Trump is a divisive figure. We all know that's a fact. And we still believe his policies and leadership have a positive impact on the country. Because, first of all, President Biden has shown us, all of us, that he's inadequate to become the next president of the United States, and Kamala Harris is even worse. It really was Trump, the main man for the job. Love him or hate him, Donald Trump has done it again. He, against all the odds, through controversy, and amidst a deeply divided political climate, Trump has emerged victorious. But how did this happen? We already know the fact. It's, let's talk about strategy. Trump's campaign wasn't just a repeat of 2016 or 2020. It was sharper, more calculated, less mistakes were made, and it was also better funded. We learned from his past losses and wins, and Trump redefined his approach to appeal to a broader base, while still energizing his loyal supporters from day one. We see Trump every day show up when he mattered most. His team poured unprecedented resources into swing states like Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Arizona, states that he nearly lost in 2020. And what changed? Well, It's micro-targeting. His campaign has used advanced analytics to zero in on suburban voters.
And that is the project of electing Donald Trump. What we've learned from history is that no, there isn't a magic bullet. The courts don't save you. No individual institution saves you. All that stuff. Hitler in 1933 was talking about his designs on America. And Hitler described you could get Americans to give up their own democracy and to be ready for a fascist takeover.
Haunting.
And that's what Hitler himself explained. He part of the Hitlerian conspiracy for Americans getting rid of their democracy. And this stuff doesn't change. It's the same playbook. It's a disaster. We need extreme measures. I mean, it's just that simple.
Adam Kinzinger was tweeting about Trump's speech. He said he'll be gone in a year. But what do you do about all the people that are now conditioned to have an appetite and hunger for a strong man?
Donald Trump was mulling whether our national abortion ban was going to be 15 weeks or 16
He's looking for a number he likes.
He likes 16 because it sounds round.
Yeah.
Some of the most fundamental decisions you will ever make in your life with massive relational consequences, massive consequences, intergenerational consequences for your family, huge economic consequences. The basic freedoms of your life should be decided by Donald Trump deciding which number he thinks looks prettier when it's embroidered on a hat.
Particularly to women and independents. But first and most importantly, he just spoke the truth and what's on his mind. His message wasn't just about making America great again. It was to finish the job. It was to fix what's wrong with the current state of our country. It was about continuity, emphasizing the idea that his policies, from the first term even till now, are much needed and will deeply help the nation. And let's face it, elections often come down to one key issue. It's about money. Everybody knows that nobody's worried as much about the border or any LGBTQ crisis as much as they are about their own pockets, because everybody needs money in order to survive in America. With inflation continuing to affect the household budgets and rising gas prices hitting Americans hard, well, Trump's message of economic arrival shook court. He painted the Biden administration as ineffective, and indeed it was.
With Trump, yard signs.
What would you say to people propagating misinformation about the emergency response to these storms?
Stop politicizing FEMA.
Elon Musk is hopping about the country, spewing and tweeting political falsehoods and attacking FEMA while claiming his desire to help the hurricane victims with free Starlink access to the internet.
Donald Trump is literally putting lives at risk right now. If you can't trust FEMA and trust basic weather reports, for example, which he's questioned in the past.
Elon Musk, the richest man in the world and top Trump ally, has also pushed lies about the hurricane to his millions of followers on the social media platform he owns.
Now, unfortunately, tragically, quite frankly, it is politicized.
The only person who is politicizing this is Donald Trump. He's the one guy doing it.
The Daily Wire obtained private messages showing a FEMA official instructing hurricane relief workers there to avoid homes with Trump signs.
Before Hurricane Milton has even made landfall, the former president is already, and for the second time in almost as many weeks, politicized the federal response.
Look, situations like this where people desperately do need help should not be politicized.
This kind of misinformation is making people fear that the government is not going to be there to help them when they are.
It was ineffective at addressing these issues, portraying President Trump as himself the solution. And whether we notice for a fact, the narrative resonated with everybody. Many voters, especially in the Rust Belt and rural America, are seeing Trump as a businessman who could fix their economy woes. And the promise of tax cuts and deregulation appealed to both blue-collar workers and corporate leaders. And the biggest elephant in the room is, of course, the media. Trump's relationship with the media has always been a double-edged sword. And in 2024, he used it to his advantage like never before. He stopped doing debates that were just so one-sided towards Kamala Harris, and he stopped taking stupid questions from mainstream media. Trump understood how to dominate the narrative, whether it was his speeches, rallies, or even controversial posts on Twitter. He stayed in the spotlight, and let's not forget the role of Elon Musk. Elon Musk deeply helped President Trump win this election. There's no doubt about that. His win and assistance was very much needed for President Trump to get his victory over Kamala Harris. And I'd say without X and even Elon's help, I'd say it'd be pretty difficult for Trump to win as many votes as he did. Even media outlets are critical of Trump, though. Everybody can say that. They couldn't resist covering him extensively, inadvertently, and amplifying his message. And even though some conservative media giants like Newsmax and Fox News gave him unwavering support, it ensured his bases stayed fired up. But one of the most striking aspects of Trump's victory was the culture divide. The attempts to take his life and the attempts to actually make things all go wrong for the political party of the Republicans. But Trump stopped it. he said to continue to fight, and we did. Us voters, we voted for President Trump, and we got him back into office.